on, girl. Oh. Oh. How you doing? Today we're making this guy. It's a little forklift. You can see, I've already got a little bit done. Let's get a little into it.
So I started off by burning out this bracket with a bunch of holes in the top for the cylinders to bolt through. I'm not sure if these cylinders even work or not, but we'll find out. Down at the bottom of the cylinders, I have a bracket that I also burnt out and bent. You can see I messed up on because I had to cut it out by hand. That bolts to the side of the cylinder, and this whole assembly is going to have a tube slide through it, and that's going to be the main frame of our actual front part.
Oh yeah. So I'm leaving everything bolted together so I don't have to measure nothing. Where it's sitting is where it's gonna stay. Just tack her up. So, next thing we're gonna do is weld on this tube. This is what the wheels are gonna sit on. There'll be a little video in the corner, you can see what's going on. These are the brackets I just burned out. This is what's gonna bolt the top of the carriage to the bottom of the frame. This is what's gonna allow you to tip the forks forward and backward. Oh, you freak. Okay, now that we got the main frame tacked together and we kind of like how it sits, or I like how it sits, it's okay. I wound up taking the cylinders and then lobbing off about 6 inches off the top of them. I also wound up drilling and tapping a 3/8 hole in the center of these, so when we're all said and done, we can take this whole thing apart and actually paint the whole thing without leaving it fully assembled. This is air tool oil, but it's better than nothing. Hi.
So the reason I didn't just put a 3/8 hole on these plates is because when I center punch these, I didn't center them, I just punched them. So the holes aren't actually centered. So that way, doing it this way, I can have these line up wherever they're going to be and I can tack it and this part is still going to stay relatively straight. Relatively. All right, moving forward, we're going to start working on the forks. So this is just regular cold roll. This is just a drop that I got from work, nothing special. Not hard, nothing. I chamfer both sides just so we can stuff a little bit more metal in there. This is just some 2x2 tubing. Nothing great here, but it's going to work for what we need it to. It's nothing substantial. So the purpose of these brackets is actually just to help carry the weight. So when there's actually weight on the forks, it's going to be pressing inward. And by putting these cam followers in right here, I can put a rail on each side. So the majority of the weight is actually going to be rolling on these bearings no matter how high or how low you go on it. So when I ordered these bearings, I ordered 4, but I only got 3 in. So instead of having a bearing here and a bearing here to keep it centered on this rail, I wound up just putting a 90 right here. So that way if we do get load on the ends of the forks, all the load will be taken up on here and this will just rub against this rail. For the rail, I wound up just using 1x2 rectangular tubing because that's all I had in the scrap bin and it works fine for this. So the original plan was to go with 2 of these little cylinders that I've just got laying around. I didn't go with these just because they only have 3 inches of stroke, which is not a lot. And they're just small and they have a really crappy weight amount, so I didn't like that. And these probably just don't have a whole lot of power. So instead of doing that, I wound up going with this big old hog dog. I already tested this guy out. You can see the brackets already tacked on there. This thing's got plenty of oomph, so we're going to go with this. Right now, I'm going to work on a bracket, so that way this actually stops, because this has way too much stroke for what I need. I don't say that a lot, but in this case, I'm saying it. All right, we got our cylinders somewhat partially plumbed up. We have our backstop tacked on. Let's give this thing a rip. Probably gonna have to mess with the speeds a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with it. All right, change of plans. I don't like that this is down here because since this is pneumatic, once this gets past its balancing point, it wants to bend back, and when it falls backwards, all the air in here compresses, so this actually shutters back. So to fix that, we're gonna put this up here, and I also wanna stuff that little air tank somewhere in here. So let's make a bracket, and we'll get this little fella all mounted up. Well, I didn't think it was possible, but I did it. I made it uglier and weaker. Let's slap the tank on. Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. See if she fits. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. Ta-da! Stiffeners for the forks. questionable end caps. Let's weld the tank on, put a couple other things on there, weld the whole thing out, and then we'll test it out.
All right, now that she's basically done, let's see what she can pick up. Think it'll pick up a Ranger? Whoa! Uh-oh. Nope. Think it'll pick up a saw? Whoa, whoa.
think it'll pick up a Mazda Speed 6. No. Alright, that's all I got. Subscribe or whatever. Bye.